Welcome to My Expat Stories. Ever met someone who treats falling in love like an engineering project? Spreadsheets, compatibility metrics, risk assessments, load calculations. Trevor did exactly that. 58-year-old civil engineer from Manchester, spent a year doing video calls with Maria Claire in the Philippines, logged every conversation, built family trees, analysed financial viability. His conclusion: moderate risk, proceed to next phase. So he sold his flat in Didsbury, moved to Davao permanently. £89,000 later, Trevor discovered Maria Claire's family had engineered a better system than he had. They had a schedule, a rotation, coordinated requests to maximise extraction without triggering his warning systems. Week 1, mother's medication. Week 2, sister's tuition. Week 3, brother's motorbike. They'd calculated his load-bearing capacity perfectly. And Trevor, the man who spent 34 years building bridges, realised he'd become one, and now he has £11,000 left and nowhere to go home to. If you've ever treated love like a project and gotten the calculations completely wrong, hit that subscribe and like button. This one's methodical. Over to you, Trevor. Right, I'm going to walk you through this systematically, because that's how I operate. Always have. 34 years as a civil engineer, you learn to document everything. Present the facts. Let the data speak. Current situation as follows. I'm sat in a one-bedroom flat in Davao City, Philippines. 58 years old. British. Manchester originally. I have £11,243 remaining in my account. I had £100,000 4 months ago when I sold my flat in Didsbury. The shortfall is £88,757, rounding to £89,000 for simplicity. That money went to Maria Claire. Well, to Maria Claire's family. Extended family. Entire bloody family tree, if we're being precise. Which I am. Always. I'm Trevor, 58, retired civil engineer, specialised in bridges, motorway overpasses mostly, the M60, the M62, structures designed to carry load, distribute stress, last 30 years, worked for the same firm in Manchester, good firm, proper engineering standards, divorced 12 years ago. Wife's name was Susan. We were married 26 years, 2 children. Robert's 32 now, works in finance in London. Charlotte's 29, solicitor in Edinburgh. Both doing well. Don't call much. Maybe Christmas, maybe birthdays if they remember. Not a complaint. Just an observation. They've got their own lives. I understand that. Susan remarried 7 years ago. Chap named Philip. Accountant. Seems decent enough from what Robert tells me. They've got a place in Cheshire. She's happy. Good for her, genuinely. We weren't compatible long term. The data supported that conclusion well before the divorce. Just took us a while to acknowledge it. I retired at 56. Early retirement package. The firm was downsizing. I'd been there long enough. Pension was adequate. Savings were adequate. Sold the family home after the divorce. Downsized to a 2-bedroom flat in Didsbury. Lived there alone for 6 years. Then decided that was inefficient use of space and capital. Sold that too, 4 months ago. But I'm getting ahead of the timeline. Let me back up. Present this chronologically. I joined FilipinoCupid in March 2 years ago. Online dating platform. Specifically for Western men seeking Filipino women. I'm aware how that sounds. I'm not an idiot. But the alternative was what? UK dating apps where women my age wanted men who were adventurous and spontaneous. I'm neither. I'm methodical, organised, set in my ways. Filipino culture, from what I'd researched, valued stability, reliability, provider mentality that I could offer. Created a profile. Uploaded 3 photos. One from a wedding, one from a walking holiday in the Lake District. One at my desk at work because it showed I had a proper job. Wrote a straightforward bio. Age, profession, interests, engineering journals, snooker, historical documentaries. No point being dishonest. That's just poor project planning. Received 43 messages in the first week. Filtered them. Removed obvious scammers. Anyone asking for money immediately. Anyone whose profile had grammatical errors suggesting copy-paste messages. Anyone under 25 because that's just daft. Left with about 12 viable candidates. Maria Claire was candidate number 7. 34. Davao City. Profile said she worked as an administrative assistant at a logistics company. 2 photos, both normal, not glamour shots. Not bikini photos, just her. At a restaurant. At what looked like a family gathering. Appropriate. Her message was polite. Well written. Asked about my work, said her father had worked construction, and she'd always found engineering interesting. Good opening. Showed she'd read my profile. Responded positively to that. We talked on the platform for 2 weeks, then moved to WhatsApp, then to video calls. I logged every conversation. Not creepy, just organised. Built a spreadsheet. Columns for date, duration, topics discussed, compatibility indicators, concerns raised. Our first video call was 17 minutes. She was nervous, I was nervous, but she looked like her photos, that was important. Verified identity. Tick, we talked about her job, about Davao, about her family. She had a pleasant manner, spoke English well, bit of an accent but perfectly clear. Second call was 31 minutes. Third was 42. By week 3 we were talking daily. An hour minimum, sometimes 2. I scheduled it into my day. 7 p.m. UK time, 3 a.m. Philippines time. She was accommodating about the time difference. Got up early to talk to me. That showed commitment to the process. I started building additional documentation. Family tree based on what she told me. Her mother, Lorna, age 61, former teacher, now retired. Father, Eduardo, age 64, worked construction his whole life, now has bad knees. Sister, Jennifer, age 28, studying nursing. Brother, Carlos, age 31, works as a driver. Extended family in the barangay. Normal Filipino setup from what I'd researched. I tracked her needs mentions. Early conversations, she mentioned her mother needed medication for diabetes. Father needed the roof repaired before rainy season. Sister's tuition was expensive. Brother's motorbike needed repairs for work. Just context. Life details. Wasn't asking for anything. Just sharing. But I noted it all. Because that's what you do. You gather data. You assess. Month 4 of daily calls, I ran a preliminary risk assessment. Created a document. Titled it Philippines Relocation Feasibility Study. Analysed the following parameters. Compatibility metrics. High. We had similar values. She was respectful, traditional, appreciated stability. Communication quality. Good. Consistent daily contact. No red flags. No requests for money. Cultural alignment. Moderate to good. I'd need to adjust to Filipino family dynamics, but I'd research that. Extended family obligations. Expected. Financial viability. Adequate. My pension plus savings could support 2 people in Philippines. Lower cost of living. Could help her family within reason without impacting my security. Risk factors. Distance relationship. Never met in person. Family obligations potentially extensive. Need for in-person verification phase before final commitment. Conclusion. Proceed to next phase. Book exploratory trip to Davao. Meet in person. Assess on-ground reality. Make final determination. Showed the document to Robert on a video call. He looked at me like I'd lost my mind. Said, "Dad, you can't engineer a relationship." I disagreed. You can engineer anything if you've got the right data. I flew to Davao in month 6. First time in the Philippines. Booked 2 weeks. Stayed at a hotel near Maria Claire's work. Marco Polo. Decent place. Clean. Professional. She met me at the airport. I recognised her immediately from the video calls. Same person. Verification successful. She was nervous, so was I. Shook hands. Bit awkward. She'd arranged a driver, her cousin. Chap named Ramon, friendly. Drove us to the hotel. That first week it was good. We had dinners, walked around Davao, she showed me her city, People's Park, the waterfront, SM Mall, which is massive. Absolutely massive. We talked. In person now. And it was the same. She was exactly who she'd been on video. Genuine. Kind, a bit shy but warm. I met her family on day 5. They lived about 30 minutes outside the city centre, in a barangay called Toril. Collection of houses, concrete. Some nicer than others. Theirs was modest, clean. But you could see. The roof had issues. Rust on the metal sheets. The porch sagged slightly. Load-bearing post was compromised. Engineer's eye catches these things automatically. Her mother cooked. Adobo. Sinigang. Rice. Lot of rice. The family was welcoming. very welcoming. Her father shook my hand, said something in Visayan. Maria Claire translated. He said I had strong hands, workman's hands. He respected that. We ate. They asked about England, about my work, about bridges. I explained load calculations. They nodded politely. Probably didn't understand, but they were polite. After dinner, Maria Claire's mother mentioned the roof. Casually. Said they'd been saving, but prices kept going up. The father's knees made it hard for him to work as much. They were getting by, but it was tight. I asked how much a new roof would cost. Eduardo said about 40,000 pesos. I did the conversion in my head. About £550. Reasonable. I said I'd take care of it. Consider it a gift. For their hospitality. Maria Claire tried to refuse. Her mother looked like she might cry. Her father shook my hand again, firmer this time. Said something that Maria Claire didn't translate, but I got the meaning. Gratitude. Felt good. Solving a structural problem, that's what I do. The roof was a legitimate engineering concern. Water ingress damages the whole structure over time. This was just practical help. I didn't realise I'd just passed the feasibility test. For them, not for me. For them. I returned to Manchester after the 2 weeks, submitted my findings to myself in a document. Philippines relocation, final assessment. Conclusion, proceed with permanent relocation. Maria Claire verified as compatible partner. Family structure understood. Financial obligations manageable within budget parameters. Quality of life improvement anticipated. Risk level, acceptable. I gave notice on my flat. 3 months, put it on the market. Sold in 6 weeks. Property market in Didsbury was strong. Got a decent price. £100,000 after estate agent fees and such. Told Robert and Charlotte I was moving to the Philippines. Robert said, "To live?" Like it was Mars, I said yes, permanently. Charlotte asked if I was sure. I showed them the spreadsheet, the compatibility metrics, the cost-benefit analysis. They looked concerned, but they didn't argue. What could they say? I'm 58. It's my life, my pension, my choice. Susan called. Robert had told her. She said, "Trevor, are you having a midlife crisis?" I said no. A midlife crisis is irrational. This was planned, researched, calculated. She sighed, said, "Just be careful." I said I would. I'm always careful. Flew back to Davao in January. One-way ticket this time. 2 suitcases, laptop, documents, shipped some boxes separately. Engineering textbooks mostly. My snooker cues. Can't get proper equipment in the Philippines apparently. Maria Claire met me at the airport. Smiled. Hugged me. Said, "Welcome home." That felt significant. Home. Haven't had one of those that felt like home in a long time. I rented a 2-bedroom flat in Davao City, proper, near Matina. Decent neighbourhood. £800 a month furnished. Bit steep but acceptable. Gave us space. Maria Claire moved in after a month. Her family approved. We weren't married yet, but we were committed. Traditional Filipino families care about that. We were doing it properly. The money started flowing in a structured manner. Not all at once. Gradually. Systematically. Looking back, I can see the engineering. At the time, I just saw needs. Month 2. Mother Lorna's medication costs increased. New doctor. Better treatment. £300 monthly. I set up a standing transfer. Easier than ad hoc payments. She needed consistency for her health. Month 3. Sister Jennifer's nursing tuition. £1,700 for the semester. Investment in education. Solid return on investment long term. She'd earn more as a nurse, support the family, contributed to overall system stability. Month 4. Brother Carlos's motorbike broke down completely. Beyond repair. Needed a new one for his driving job. No motorbike, no income. £2,000 for a decent second-hand Honda. Practical. Necessary. He needed it for work. Month 5. Uncle Rodrigo wanted to start a sari-sari store. Small shop, sell basic goods. Could bring in steady income for the family. Reduce their dependence on my support long term. He needed capital. £4,000. I considered it a business investment. Sustainable income generation. Good planning. Each expense was justified. Documented. I tracked it all. Built a spreadsheet. Amount pounds. Amount pesos. Expected outcome. Actual outcome. Expected outcomes were generally improved family stability, reduced financial stress, increased goodwill, stronger relationship foundation. Actual outcomes column stayed mostly empty. I'd fill it in later, when results materialised. Month 7. Father Eduardo's knees. He needed surgery. The public hospital wait list was 2 years. Private hospital could do it in 3 weeks. £8,000. I didn't hesitate. The man had worked construction 40 years. His knees were shot. He deserved proper medical care, and frankly, he was in pain. Constant pain. That's not acceptable when you have the means to fix it. Maria Claire cried when I transferred the money. Said I was the most generous man she'd ever met. Said her father would be able to walk properly for the first time in 5 years. Said her whole family was grateful. Blessed to have me. It felt like I'd engineered something important. Not a bridge. Something better. A family's well-being. Month 8. Cousin Melanie's hospital bills. Emergency appendectomy. No insurance. £1,200. Paid immediately. Family emergency. You help family. That's understood. Month 9. Nephew Gabriel's school supplies and uniforms. £200. Small amount, but he's a child. Education is crucial. Investment in the next generation. Month 10. The house in Toril. Maria Claire's family home. The structure had multiple issues beyond the roof. Foundation settling. Electrical wiring outdated. Plumbing inadequate. I did a proper survey. Took photos, made notes. Estimated repairs at £15,000 to bring it up to acceptable standards. I proposed we do it in phases. Phase 1. Critical structural and safety issues. Phase 2. Comfort and efficiency improvements. Phase 3. Aesthetic upgrades. Maria Claire said that was too much. I couldn't pay for all that. I said I could and I should. They were going to be my family officially soon. We talked about marriage. This was investment in family infrastructure. Standard practice. We started phase 1. I hired contractors, supervised the work myself, made sure it was done properly. British standards, well, Philippine materials but British methodology. The family was pleased. Eduardo especially. He said having an engineer in the family was a blessing. Someone who understood structures, could fix things properly. I felt useful, for the first time in years. Actually useful. The pattern continued. Month 11. Jennifer needed money for medical textbooks. Month 12. Carlos's motorbike needed repairs again. Month 13. Lorna's medication needed adjusting. More expensive now. Month 14. Rodrigo's Sari Sari store needed restocking capital. The initial investment hadn't generated returns yet. Market was slow, he said. Needed more time. I noted that. In my spreadsheet. Under actual outcomes for Rodrigo's store. No revenue generated to date, requires further capital injection. But I sent it. Another £2,000. Sometimes projects need additional funding. That's normal. You don't abandon a project midstream because of early setbacks. Month 15. A new family member appeared in my documentation. Cousin Samuel. I hadn't been told about Samuel before. He lived in Manila, worked construction like Eduardo used to, needed money to come home. Family emergency. His mother was sick. £500 for the bus fare and to cover his time off work. I sent it, but I noted the discrepancy. Samuel hadn't appeared in Maria Claire's earlier family tree documentation. I asked her about it. She said, oh, he's a distant cousin. Second cousin, maybe. Family is complicated in the Philippines. Everyone's related somehow. Fair enough. Extended family networks are extensive here. I'd researched that. Month 16. The data started showing patterns I couldn't ignore. I cross-referenced my expenditure log with my conversation logs from the first year of video calls. Certain family members who needed money now had never been mentioned in those early conversations. Samuel, cousin Melanie, Uncle Rodrigo. None of them appeared in the first 6 months of documented calls. Also, Rodrigo's Sari Sari store. I drove past it one day, unannounced. Quality control check. The store existed, but a different person was running it. Not Rodrigo, a woman I didn't recognise. I asked Maria Claire about it. She said Rodrigo hired someone to manage it while he looked for other work. The store wasn't making enough for him to work there full-time, but I'd given him £6,000 total. For a store someone else was now running. The ROI wasn't computing. Month 17. I did something I'm not proud of. I checked Maria Claire's phone. She left it on the kitchen counter while she was in the shower. Unlocked. I opened WhatsApp, found a group chat. Family. 17 members. Scrolled through. Saw my name. Trevor. Attached to various messages. Ask Trevor about the electric bill. Eduardo. Trevor already paid for Gabriel's school. Can we ask for extracurricular? Jennifer. My turn next week, right? Check the schedule. Someone named Tita Baby. No idea who that was. Don't ask too much at once. Space it out. Lorna schedule. They had a schedule. I scrolled up. Found it. An actual rotation. Week 1, medication request. Lorna. Week 2, education costs. Jennifer. Week 3, vehicle/transport. Carlos. Week 4, household repairs. Eduardo. Week 5, business needs. Rodrigo. Week 6, miscellaneous family. Rotating. They'd engineered it, coordinated requests, managed the load distribution, prevented system overload by spacing demands. It was brilliant actually. From an engineering perspective, they'd identified the resource, me, calculated the capacity, my income and savings, and optimized extraction rate to prevent structural failure, me saying no or running out. I was the bridge. They were managing the load. I put the phone down, went to the balcony, stood there for a long time, thinking about Manchester, about my empty flat I'd sold, about Robert and Charlotte who had their own lives, about Susan who was happy with Philip, about going back to... What exactly? A rental flat? Alone at 58? Or staying here where people needed me, even if the need was engineered? I made a decision that night to continue gathering data, but to not confront, not yet, because confronting meant, what, leaving and going where? The project parameters had changed, but the project hadn't failed, not yet. Month 18. I conducted a full audit, took 3 days, pulled every transaction, every transfer, every receipt, built a comprehensive master document, Philippines relocation, financial analysis and outcome assessment, total expenditure since arrival, £88,757, call it 89,000, breakdown by category, medical, Lorna, Eduardo, Melanie, £24,300, education, Jennifer, Gabriel, £8,900, housing/infrastructure, family home repairs, £19,400, transport, Carlos motorbike times 2, various, £6,700, business investment, Rodrigo store, £6,000, family emergencies, various, £11,200, living support, medication bills, miscellaneous, £12,257, expected outcomes versus actual outcomes, medical, expected, improved health, reduced pain, family stability, actual, Lorna's diabetes unchanged, Eduardo's knees better but he's still not working, Melanie's appendectomy was legitimate but she's never thanked me personally, have never met her, education, expected, Jennifer completes nursing, increases earning potential, actual, Jennifer completed 1 semester, then switched to business course, now studying hospitality, not sure where the original tuition went, housing, expected, safe, stable family home, actual, house improved, that's verifiable, but 3 additional family members now live there who weren't there before, increased occupancy wasn't part of the original scope, transport, expected, Carlos maintains employment, generates income, actual, Carlos still works. But the first motorbike I bought allegedly broke down after 8 months. Second motorbike is the same make and model. Suspicious. Business investment. Expected. Sustainable income stream for family. Actual. Store operates but generates no income for Rodrigo. Run by third party. No returns to date. Conclusion. Project objectives not met. Resource allocation inefficient. High probability of systemic misrepresentation of requirements. In engineering terms, the load calculations were based on false data. The structure I built is supporting more weight than specified, and the materials aren't being used as indicated in the original plans. I'd been had. I scheduled a meeting with Maria Claire. Didn't call it that, just said we needed to talk. She knew. The moment I said it, her face changed, from the usual warm expression to something more. Careful. like she was preparing for a structural test. We sat at the kitchen table. I opened my laptop, pulled up the master document, turned the screen towards her. "I've completed a comprehensive financial review," I said. "I'd like to walk you through the findings." She looked at the spreadsheet. All the columns, all the numbers, £89,000 in 18 months. She didn't cry, didn't get angry, just looked at it, then looked at me. "Okay," she said. I went through it, category by category, pointed out the discrepancies. The family members who didn't exist in original documentation, the business that generates no returns, the medical costs that don't align with actual treatment, the rotation schedule I found in the group chat. She listened, didn't interrupt. When I finished, I said, "I like your response to these findings." She was quiet for about 30 seconds. Then she said, "Everything you sent money for was real, Trevor. My mother has diabetes, my father's knees were bad. Jennifer is in school. The house needed repairs, Carlos needed a motorbike. My family needed help. That was all true. But the coordination," I said. "The schedule, the optimization of requests." She nodded. "Yes, we coordinated, because if everyone asked you at once, you'd realize how much it was. You'd say no. So we managed it. Made sure you could say yes." "That's manipulation," I said. "That's survival," she said. "Trevor, you have money, we don't. You wanted to help, we let you help. We made it easy for you to help, is that wrong?" I asked if she loved me. Needed to know. Purely factual question. She looked at me for a long time. "I care about you, very much. You're a good man, kind, generous. My family, they care about you too. You helped us, real help. The house is better. My father can walk. Jennifer is in school. That's real." "But do you love me?" I repeated. "Does it matter?" she asked. "You have a home here, a family, people who need you. Isn't that what you wanted?" And that's when I realised she was right. I pulled up another document, one I'd created last week. UK Return Feasibility Assessment. Shown her the data. Current liquid assets, £11,243. Property owned in UK, none. Sold. Employment prospects at 58. Minimal family connections requiring my presence. None. Robert last called. 4 months ago. Charlotte last called. 7 months ago. Susan's status. Remarried, independent cost of returning to UK. Rental flat Manchester. £800 to £1,000 per month. Living expenses. £1,200 per month. Social connections. Effectively zero. Purpose/meaning. Undefined cost of staying in Philippines. Current flat. £800 per month. Already committed. Living expenses with Maria Claire. £600 per month. Family support obligations. Variable. Average £2,500 per month. Social connections. Maria Claire's family. 17 plus members. Purpose/meaning. Family patriarch. Problem solver. Provider. I looked at her. If I leave, if I go back to Manchester, what am I going back to? A rental flat, no home, no family who needs me. Robert and Charlotte are busy. They're successful. They don't need their old dad hanging about. I'd be alone, waiting to die, essentially. Maria Claire reached across the table, put her hand on mine. "You don't have to leave." "But I know now," I said. "I know what this is. The schedule, the coordination, the engineering." She nodded. "You know, and you can choose. You can go, or you can stay, but if you stay, you know what it is. No pretending." And I thought about that, really thought about it. The numbers didn't lie. I'd been systematically drained, engineered. They'd identified my weakness, my need to be needed, to solve problems, to be useful. And they'd exploited it brilliantly. But they also needed the help. The house really was falling apart. Lorna really does have diabetes. The family is poor. The help was real even if the method was calculated. And I'm 58. I sold my flat, burned my bridges. Literal bridges I engineered and metaphorical ones. I have nowhere to go that's better than this. Being needed, even transactionally, is better than not being needed at all. "I'd like to propose revised terms," I said. Maria Claire looked surprised. "Terms?" "Yes, if I'm staying. If we're continuing this. I want transparency. No more hidden requests. No more schedule. Everything goes through me, direct. I assess it. Approve it or don't. Engineering principles. Clear parameters. Load limits defined. She thought about it. What are the load limits? I pulled up my budget spreadsheet. £2,000 per month maximum for family support. Medical emergencies can exceed that, but require documentation. Education support continues for Jennifer only, not additional family members. Business investments require business plans and revenue projections. No more random cousins appearing. That's very specific, she said. I'm an engineer, I said. Specific is what I do. She smiled. Small smile. And if we agree to these terms, then the project continues, I said. Modified parameters, but continues. She squeezed my hand. Okay, we agree. I don't know if she actually agreed, or if she just said she agreed and the schedule will continue covertly. But at least now I know. I'm not deluded. I'm not naive. I'm choosing this. Consciously. With full data. I'm buying a family they're selling access and purpose. It's a transaction. But it's a transaction both parties understand. That's honest enough. I still live in Davao, still with Maria Claire, still supporting the family. The requests continue. I approve most of them, within the defined parameters. Sometimes they exceed parameters. I adjust. Robert called last month, asked how I was. I said fine, settling in well. He asked if I was happy. I said happiness is a subjective metric. I'm content, purpose-driven. That's adequate. Charlotte sent a text, said she might visit someday. I said that would be nice. She won't visit, I know that. But it's kind of her to say. The £11,000 is now about £8,000. I'm spending down the capital. In 5 months I'll be purely pension dependent. £2,000 monthly. Exactly what I allocated for family support. Coincidence. Or Maria Claire did the maths, same as I did. The project parameters have changed substantially from the original specification. The family structure is different. The financial model is different. The relationship dynamics are different. But the project continues, because what's the alternative? Return to Manchester, rent a flat, watch snooker on television, wait for Robert to call, die alone in 15 or 20 years, or stay here in the heat, with the jeepneys and the karaoke and the family gatherings, where 17 people show up, and I'm Uncle Trevor, who fixed the house, and paid for Jennifer's school, and bought Carlos a motorbike. It's not the life I engineered, but it's the life I've got. And sometimes you can't rebuild from scratch. Sometimes you just reinforce the existing structure and make it work. That's engineering too. This is my expat stories. Sometimes you don't get scammed. Sometimes you engineer your own trap because the alternative is a life where nobody needs you for anything. And sometimes you look at the data and decide that being someone's ATM is better than being nobody's anything. The calculations are cold, but the choice is yours.